It seems as though Trump's been tweeting a lot about this rally, and he's talking about stopping the steal. Do you think Trump's going to get a second term when all is said and done?
I believe he will. I think he's got a plan. Yeah. He's a man with a plan.
What do you think the plan is?
Well, I'm not sure. I'm just a regular guy.
Sure,
but he's a very smart guy, done a lot for our country, done a lot in 4 years.
What do you think Trump's biggest accomplishments are? What do you appreciate that Trump did the most?
Well, he rebuilt the economy, rebuilt the military.
Sure.
He brought people together.
Yeah.
You know,
do you really think Trump brought people together, though? I feel like people call him one of the more divisive presidents that we've had.
The divisive people are the Democrats because they hated him from day one.
Mm-hmm.
They just wouldn't recognize him as a duly elected president.
Yeah.
They were the division all summer, burning cities down.
I know there was a certain amount of Democrats in 2016 when Donald Trump was elected that did not accept him, and they said, like, not my president.
You mean 100%?
I mean, some of them accepted the results. Hillary did, concede when all was said and done. Do you think there's going to be a certain amount of Republicans who are kind of also just like, not my president about Joe Biden?
The Republicans that aren't supporting Trump right now are a disgrace.
Sure.
And there's going to be a lot of... Joe Biden will never be my president. Mm-hmm. Are you kidding me? He's part of the Communist Party.
Okay.
Look at what they did by censoring all our stuff on Twitter and Facebook and covering up all that story. Tony Bobulinski's the hero.
Interesting.
I believe Tony Bobulinski. I don't believe Joe Biden and Hunter Biden. Are you kidding me?
It's interesting because you said it's important for, the Republicans and the GOP to stand and support Trump. What does that mean now that the election's kind of said and done? The Electoral College voted, the votes were certified. What does it mean to support Trump now as a Republican?
It may not be certified. I mean, we got till January 20th.
Sure. But as I understand, the Democrats have majority in the House and Senate. What are they to do, even if the Republicans get together, try to,
I don't know. I don't know what the next move is. I'm here to support the duly elected president of the United States that won in a landslide on November 3rd and was cheated, and the Democrats stole my vote and stole 74 million other votes.
I had one other topic I wanted to talk to you about. I know this year, coming on the heels of the killing of George Floyd, we've been seeing this resurgence of this Black Lives Matters movement. What do you make of the movement?
I don't understand the Black Lives Matter. All lives matter to me. I have a lot of black friends. I love black people. I love Asian people. I love all people, really. Yeah. All lives matter. And to memorialize a thug like George Floyd is unfortunate. I don't believe that what happened to him was proper or fair or anything, and I condemn the cop that did that. But he's also part of a group that put a pistol in the belly of a pregnant woman while his buddies ransacked their place for drug money.
Do you think, police brutality is an issue in the country? Because I know the Black Lives Matter movement tries to talk about how they want police reform. What do you make of that? Do we have an issue with police brutality in our country?
No, I don't believe so. We are not an inherently racist country, and our police force is made up of a lot of good men and women, and there's bad apples in every crowd. How many bad apples are in the Democrat Party?
Many bad apples all around. I want to pivot kind of into this one other consideration when we talk about, police and support for the police nowadays. What do you think about the police having to enforce kind of these unjust laws? We're seeing not mask mandates, but, these kind of decrees that we're seeing out of many governors, not to crowd around too much, or the police will come and try to break up, these larger gatherings. Do we support the police through and through, although they might be, trying to enforce unconstitutional laws?
I think the police are being put in a very bad position. But like in Portland and Seattle and out in the West Coast there, a lot of police are leaving those police forces because of the corruption, because of things they're being compelled to do. I mean, they're all, just like you and I. We got families, we got to put food on the table. They got to pay their mortgage just like everybody else. They're human beings. And the left has treated them like subhumans. And I support the police 100%.
My YouTube channel?
What YouTube channel?
Barely Informed with Elad. It's good shit, bro. It's good. What's the worst that could happen? Yeah. We're out here in D.C.
Hey, I've already been doxxed.
Yeah, what's the worst that could happen? You're already doxxed. You can only get doxxed once, so. We're out here in D.C. for the Stop the Steal rally. Can you tell me a little bit more about why you showed up?
I want to support the president. I don't believe he lost. At this point, I don't care if he lost, which, it's kind of controversial, especially with a lot of people here. But, I see what they're pushing. I see World Economic when they want to do the forum, when they want to do the Great Reset, when they want worldwide communist.
What do you think is going to happen under a Joe Biden presidency? That's really so bad.
Well, I think they're going to try to shut down the government. I think the economy.
Joe Biden's going to try to shut down the government?
No, sorry. He's going to try to shut down small businesses.
Okay.
The economy's going to tank. There's going to be much more censorship. With a lot of the camera. I'm not good with interviews, but with a lot of the AI putting down to help censorship online, kind of like more of a social credit score may come to effect.
More like a Chinese.
Yeah, that's what I'm fearing. And at the end of the day, we're going through the largest transfer of wealth in human history through the lockdowns. Small businesses are going under. Places like Amazon and Walmart are making so much more money.
Yeah, but all these lockdowns right now are happening under Trump, right? All this stuff, this greatest transfer of wealth, this isn't happening under Joe Biden. It's happening now under Trump.
I think it's going to be a lot worse under Joe Biden.
Okay, but it's happening under Trump already, too.
It is. I think we're kind of fucked. I think people need to stop having so much faith in Trump alone.
Sure.
It can't just be Trump. People have to take action themselves.
Yes. Be individuals and take responsibility for themselves. Can I finish my interview? I'm sorry, 1 minute. I also see you got the PB on the leather jacket, smoking the cigar. Can you tell me a little bit more about this?
I'm gonna say this. It's a men's drinking club. That's all I'm gonna say about it.
Sure. And I know there's been conflicts between Trump supporters and Antifa and Black Lives Matter supporters in the past at these other Stop the Steal rallies. I don't know if you've been to those, but what do you make of the violence that's been there in the past, and are you prepared to, be violent now?
I prefer to stay kind of away from the violence. I mean, I was in a Stop the Steal protest in Madison, and I sat there and I had a 2-hour conversation with an Antifa member. I was talking to Black Lives Matter. I tried my best not to do violence unless people are going to be violent to me.
What do you think of Antifa?
I do not like them.
Yeah, why not?
I've seen them attack people. I've been there when I've seen them beat down elderly people. Mm-hmm. I've watched them firsthand attack innocent people, go after old men, old women, and I do not like when they do stuff like that.
They say they hate Nazis. What do you make of that? And they say they're defending people against Nazis. What do you make of that?
They hate Nazis. However, they think everyone's a Nazi, mm-hmm. And that's not true. Just because you disagree with someone doesn't make them a Nazi.
Okay. Is it good that they dislike Nazis? Do you dislike Nazis? Is that one thing?
I dislike Nazis.
Sure. Can I ask you about Black Lives Matters too? What do you make of the movement?
I think the movement is very toxic as a whole. Especially with a lot of the riots that have been going on. However, I'm completely fine with this. I'm fine with the saying Black Lives Matter. There's people who don't really pay attention to what's going on, and they just see the name Black Lives Matter, mm-hmm. and that's a
positive. Get triggered. People get triggered.
Yeah, that's a positive message. People when people start saying Black Lives Matter, they associate the group. When someone says Black Lives Matter, I say, instead of saying All Lives Matter, try to scream over them. Why don't you just start chanting they do, they do, they do, because they're not going to expect it, and it's going to make you look better, because you know what, Black lives do matter. People say, well, why can't you just say it? Why can't people just say that? I'll say it, Black Lives Matter. I don't agree with the movement, but I'll agree with the statement that Black Lives Matter.
Absolutely. Stop the Steal or we will. Can you tell me a little bit more about why you came out here and what the symbolism behind the sign means?
Because our country's going down, and we got to stand up. The people have to stand up and fight for it. We're not going to get it back by not fighting.
Mm-hmm. And when you say fight, is that like a metaphor? What do you mean?
I don't mean fight. I don't mean fight for with guns, but I will. If we have to, we will have to. But I'm saying fight like we're fighting right now. We've got to get out here and fight.
Absolutely. I know that the Electoral College, certified the election, and it seems as though Joe Biden will be president-elect. Is this a little bit too late to be gathering here now?
I don't think it's never too late. I think we still got a chance, but I wish we'd have done it before. I wish we'd have done it. We should have done it back in 2018 when California stole them Republican seats. Do you remember that?
Okay, yeah, in their midterms.
That's when we should have been out here, and we should have stopped it then, and there just never would have happened.
Yeah. What's your biggest fear under a Joe Biden presidency, assuming he gets into office?
We're going to lose all our freedom.
Sure. What specific freedoms, like our Second Amendment rights? Well, what specifically?
Yeah, that's going to be the first thing I think go. And if they do that, we are completely done.
And what do you
We're
mean by
done.
that? Like, because I know in the
country's
past
done.
we've talked about taking
If we
guns
lose-
away before, you know.
If we lose our guns, you know as well as I do, that's the only thing stopping these corrupt politicians from taking over.
I know there seems to be like a new wing of the Republican Party, right? The Trumpers now. Do you think that is the future of the party, or we're going to kind of recede back to
I
this
hope
type of
so,
establishment GOP stuff?
I hope so, because if it's not, I don't consider myself that much of a Republican. I'm a conservative, and that's it. There's been a lot of Republicans that have failed us.
Yeah. I know there have been a lot of people that have been trying to work with Trump through this Stop the Steal stuff. There was Sidney Powell, Lynn Wood, but a lot of the lawsuits that they bring up just end up getting shot down. Lynn Wood
that's
likes
what's
to
scary.
say
That's
a
scary.
lot of things. What do you make of those leaders? Are these people the right people to be trying to lead Trump back into a second term?
I think they're the right people to lead. Our trouble is we don't have the judges that will stand up. And I don't know if it's because they've been corrupted or they've been threatened or what.
I mean, respectfully, Trump appointed 3 out of
I
our
know
9
he
Supreme
did.
Court justices. Trump
I know he
appoints
did.
William Barr, and William Barr says, there isn't evidence of enough widespread
I
voter
know.
fraud to overturn the election. So,
And I believe that they've gotten to him too, just like they got to Jeff Sessions. Jeff Sessions was gung-ho. He was going to clean house. He got in and did nothing. And same way with Barr. He did nothing too.
seems like that happens with a lot of Trump appointees. I wanted to pivot and ask you a little bit. This year we have seen, on the heels of the death of George Floyd, the killing of George Floyd, we've been seeing this resurgence of the Black Lives Matters movement. What do you make of the BLM movement?
I think the biggest part of it's paid for. I really do.
So you think it's all like a psyop, just all being paid for?
There are some, I'm sure there are some, and there are some that, they're out there really protesting. But the ones that are tearing the place down, they're out there to destroy. They're out there to steal. But there are legitimate people out there protesting like we are here. And if that's what they want to do, I applaud them.
Yeah.
But the ones that are burning the places down, destroying businesses that had in their own cities, it's crazy.
I know many of these protesters in the BLM movement are talking about police brutality. Do you think police brutality is an issue in the country? I know they also mentioned racism. Do you think there's still strides we need to take in the United States to kind of push forward?
I think there is some bad cops, but the vast majority are good, and they're taking some that are bad and just blowing it all out of proportion. Without cops, what would our country be?
So we're out here today in Washington, D.C. for the Stop the Steal rally. Can you tell me a little bit more about why you decided to come out?
Because I feel like this is the last chance of freedom that we're going to have. If Biden gets in, with all the voter fraud, if Biden gets in this time, then I don't think there's really any chance to get another good president in.
Do you think there's any realistic chance that this gets overturned and that Trump will get a second term?
I don't know. It seems like he might have it planned, but yeah, I don't know.
You think he's going to pull out like a Trump card and somehow in this last minute? Because I know we have the inauguration here in 2 weeks, so you're still hopeful?
Yes, that's
Awesome.
why I'm here.
Awesome.
Yep.
I wanted to ask you, do you have leaders in this movement that you look to? I know Lynn Wood and Sidney Powell were originally helping Trump with these lawsuits. Now we have Rudy Giuliani on stage. Are there anybody here that you really look up to?
Not really anybody specific.
Interesting. Okay.
Yeah.
I also wanted to ask, I know we've been seeing this kind of resurgence of the BLM movement coming on the heels of the death of George Floyd earlier this year. What do you make of that movement?
Like, what do you mean?
Like, what do you think about Black Lives Matter?
Well, I think all lives matter.
Okay, cool.
Black, everybody, unborn, all lives.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Under a Joe Biden presidency, what do you think your biggest fear under Joe Biden presidency will be? What do you think he's going to accomplish?
I think that he's going to turn this country socialist.
Yeah. What does that mean, though?
Well, like with the whole the mask thing, then it's like what's good for the majority, but
Yeah. Are you against people wearing masks?
I think it should be a choice.
Yeah.
For sure.
That's interesting.
Yeah.
I know
If they
people.
want to, they can.
Yeah, people were hinting that this weekend could potentially be violent. Are you nervous that this weekend's gonna be violent at all?
I don't know, it could be. I'm
Okay.
not really nervous, though.
You're not nervous? Okay, cool. Because I noticed in your bag there was like this little canister. I don't know. It kind of looked
Yeah.
like pepper spray.
Yeah,
Are you just prepared to?
prepared.
Yeah, are you prepared to defend yourself? Like, are you coming, I guess prepared to defend yourself here?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Yeah, anything can happen.
Yeah. What made you think to bring something to defend yourself like that?
I was, I don't know. Anything can happen, like I
Yeah,
said.
no, it's important. Yeah.
Yep.
And we hope it gets, we hope it stays safe tonight. But thank you for your time. Was there anything else you wanted to mention?
No.
Awesome. Thank you so much. I appreciate it. We are out here in Washington, D.C. for the Stop the Steal rally. I see you have a black American flag. Can you tell me a little bit more about this and why you decided to come out?
Yeah, so just wanted to come out to support my country and support Trump and everything that he's done for the American people. I just, looking at everything with an unbiased mind, just really feel like he's, overall put the American people first. And I feel like the main reason everybody hates him so much is they can't buy him, bribe him, or control him, and that makes him a threat. And as far as the black flag goes, this was usually held up by some people in times of war, for instance, and it basically means no quarter will be given. And I don't want to have quarter given to me, so it's basically time of war. Basically take no prisoners in a sense. So just wanted to come out, and I just feel that, with everything going on, you look at all the evidence and the testimonies and mathematical impossibilities and stuff like that. And in my time on earth, I found out one thing. People with money and power want one thing, more of it. And I just feel like if you're willing to sell out your country for money and power, then you should be removed from office and prosecuted. So,
I want to talk to you a little bit more about the election stuff. I know we just had Rudy Giuliani speaking.
I saw that.
That's Trump's personal lawyer. He filed a few lawsuits that didn't end up going too far. I know we had Sidney Powell and Linwood supposedly with the Kraken. Didn't really go anywhere. Is there something that's really going to push Trump over the edge? Do you believe in your heart of hearts that Trump's going to get a second term? Or is this just kind of, trying to rally the base in a one last,
So I believe that if the House and the Senate listen to the facts and look at everything, there's a lot of things that's behind the scenes, and unless you're really sitting down doing hours of research, you won't find, because it's being covered up. As of yesterday, there was actually a gentleman, I'm sure y'all know of Code Monkeys on Twitter.
No, but
yeah,
Code Monkeys.
Yeah, so he's basically a white hat hacker. They have information where a guy, he's confessed, he signed an affidavit. He's in Italy, part of an Italian program called Leonardo.
Okay.
So basically he admitted to the fact that they took votes, the ones that went to Frankfurt, Germany. Well, then they went over to some server thing in Italy. They manipulated the votes.
It's interesting because
satellite.
there was this Dominion stuff, and then there was
Right.
ballots in suitcases. But then at the end of the day, Trump's own appointee Bill Barr said that there isn't evidence of widespread voter fraud such that it could overturn the election.
Right.
So we're hearing all these allegations. They're not really going anywhere. So
Right. Well, and also at the same time, though, Barr didn't do
But the
any
court decided to
investigating.
toss out cases and not hear them,
But
like
not on-
9-0 decisions.
But not based on evidence, based on standing, which means that they don't want to have a thing of it. And then you had the a guy come out where they had the phone call where Justice Roberts said that he wasn't going to take the case, and then when Brett Kavanaugh and Amy Coney Barrett said, well, hey, we got the Bush versus Gore, and his exact words were, I don't give a fuck about that case. We didn't have riots back then.
I know Linwood was kind of leading some of this stuff.
Yeah,
Do you trust Linwood?
I mean, one thing I'll say is this: I know some of the stuff he's been saying is off the wall, but like I said, I've got a video of the election last night. I'm from Georgia. The election last night on live TV, and this is ABC now. Okay, so this isn't a conservative-only news station or anything, but literally in a 30-second time frame, Purdue having 32,000 votes taken away from his tally.
Okay.
And then they turn around about 30 minutes after that, took another 5,000 off.
Yeah, there's stuff on TV being inconsistent. Can I get a
Right.
percent chance of Trump's getting a second term out of you?
I think that if people are unbiased and do what's honest instead of doing what they want to do to maintain power and all of that, I believe if they listen to the facts, I mean, you had that mathematician.
Percent chance. It's
100%.
gonna happen.
I'd say 100% chance if they listen to the facts and do what's right.
USA! start recording the whole thing.
Okay.